Welcome to Aligned and Abundant, the podcast where you can feel at home, and I hope that you do. I am realizing that there is so much more to this life than just waking up and going about our days unconscious. And what I mean by unconscious is just going through the motions. We need to really wake up and be aware of all of the opportunities that we are missing that are right there hidden in plain sight. But because our minds are go, 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 I mean, statistically, they say anywhere between 60,000 and 70,000 thoughts per day. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around that. And even as I'm speaking this, I'm thinking other things as well. So my brain is just all over the place. And one thing that I want to touch upon is how our brains, our minds are liars. You know, I spend so much time having thoughts and pretend conversations of what I think people might be thinking or what they might say, and why? I caught myself doing that yesterday, and I was like, why am I even giving this energy? Because one, I don't know if that's how this person will actually take that. And why should I also worry about it or spend time thinking about it if it might not ever happen? What I need to focus on, and by need, meaning it would be expansive, to focus on the good. If someone were to get inside of my brain, which would be really kind of fun to see the data points, it would be really interesting to see how many thoughts are negative versus positive. I try to come across as a very positive person, but I'm also realistic. But is being realistic negative? There's a fine line, and there's observations about how we process the day, how we can look at the same glass of water, and some of us see it as half full and some of us see it as half empty. But that also reminds me that there's a third way to look at that glass, which is even if it becomes empty, it is refillable. And so energy is like that. When we are feeling low on energy or when we are feeling depleted, we can find joyful things to do. We can have happy thoughts, and both of these will recharge our energy. Going outside for a walk is one of the best things that you can do for not only your physical health, but your mental health. I used to live in a different town, obviously in a different house. And one thing that I do truly, truly miss is that house was next to a walking trail. And it was just so therapeutic to get out there and to walk. And I would stop. There was a bridge that had water that would come in and out of a creek that would lead out to the bay. So as the tides would change, the water rhythm would change. And I would pause there and just stare at the water, because if you've been listening long enough, you know that I have a special connection with water. There's something about it that just soothes my soul, literally, and it really resets my nervous system. And side note, I encourage you to find what resets your nervous system. Is it dancing? Is it singing? Is it humming? Is it going out for a jog? Is it going out for what I call a coffee run, where you get a coffee or your favorite drink and you just drive past some beautiful scenery? We have to remember to fill our cups. We have to remember that if our cups are empty, we can't give. And part of being is being able to give love, to give compassion, to give support, to give advice, to give feedback. We have to remember that we are here for connection. We are here to be expressions of God. And so I've been reflecting on that. I wondered out loud yesterday, and I don't have an answer, but I said to my husband, I do hope that there is a heaven, because I don't want to just rinse and repeat, is what I said. I don't want to finish this life and go right into another one. And I don't know if that's how it works. You know, I imagine with like the soul contracts, you at least have time for a meal. I envision you sit at a grand table with your ancestors, your spirit guides, and your angels, and you begin to work out the next contract. What lessons do you still need to master? What karma still needs to be cleared? And I do believe that when we're there, we're full knowing. We know everything. It's like we are made to forget. And that's why when we awaken during our life, we're remembering the truth. We're remembering what our soul already knows. Our soul knows everything. And so when we honor ourselves and our growth, when we get quiet and we connect to Source, God, or the divinity, that is when we are communing with our soul, and we can use those conversations and those feelings as a guiding system, a GPS of our soul, if you will. And so for me, it's so interesting because I know what's good for me. I know that connecting to Source more often should be my most important priority of every single day. And so I have to ask myself, why do I not always make the time? It could just be that perhaps that's something that I have to learn. Maybe that's one of my learning lessons, my points of learning. My point of learning is discipline. And I know in a previous conversation, we've talked about using discipline as devotion to our growth, devotion to our soul's development, our soul's purpose and healing. And so I have to get curious with that. And I can even tie that to my weight. You know, I have always struggled with weight and body image. I believe it was in the third grade that I started gaining weight and I was no longer skinny. And, there was name calling that came with that. And so that really bruised my ego and my self-esteem. And I let it get in my head for years. I'm still not at a place where I walk around and I feel 100% confident. Sure, I might be 100% confident in the comfort of my own home and with my family, but put me in a bathing suit on the beach and I might not feel as confident. But what I'm getting at is I know what to do. I know that I should drink more water. I should go out and exercise. I should lift weights. I should be more mindful of what I eat and when I eat. Like, I know the rhythm of my body. Like, I know my window. I'm a 10:30-ish to 7 p.m. window. That's when my body does best with eating. So if I'm getting into bed at 10 o'clock and settling into watching some TV with my husband and I open up a bag of Fritos, I'm not doing myself any good. And so I'm just going to invite us to get a little clearer on what it is that we know we're being called to do. And if we aren't doing those things, going within and seeking the clarity, connecting to source, and getting to the why. And granted, we're not all psychologists or therapists, and we might not be able to put the pieces together right away. But I do know, and I do trust and believe that we do have access to all of the answers. And it's a matter of connecting. It's a matter of how you connect. Maybe you journal. Maybe you pull out a pendulum. Maybe you pull out the tarot cards. These things are not evil. These things are tools. It's about going in. It's about how you connect and how you go in and how you set the course. I always recommend that before you do anything in working with spirit or any of these tools, that you say a prayer, that you surround yourself with the white light of the Holy Spirit, and that you ask for your spirit guides to support you and deliver clear messages, and that you just truly protect your energy. And speaking of energy, and this may be related or non-related, but because it's about to be springtime for most of my listeners, or it doesn't really matter where you're listening and when you're listening, but be careful with putting out welcome mats. Whether you believe it or not, it was shared with me that you shouldn't put out a welcome mat, meaning a mat that says welcome, because you may be welcoming in negative energy. Welcome is open for anything to come through. So a few years back, I stopped getting mats that say welcome. Instead, I'll get, flowers or a snowman. I think mine right now says, I don't know what it says. I think it has to do something with love. I'll have to go out and look. That's really funny that I can't remember offhand. Oh, you know what it says? It says home. It says home, and it has a heart as the O. I just want to remind us that we have to protect our energy. And one thing that I felt called to do, which again, I should be doing every single night or every single morning, especially if I'm out in the astral world running around at night, is to call back your energy. And a simple way for you to do that is to say, I call back any energy that is mine from any people, places, or things that I may have left behind. And I send back any energy that is not mine. And I always like to add with love and light. So I send back any energy that is not mine or that does not belong to me, and I send it back with love and light. And breathe into that and just do whatever your body wants to do. Don't think about it, just do it, just be. And as we approach the spring equinox, just know that this is a time for new beginnings and for what has been quietly growing underneath the surface to reveal itself to you, to begin to sprout and pop through the surface. And I just want to give you a gentle reminder to not give up. That sprout may be a centimeter below the surface of the ground, and it's ready to break through, and it's going to turn into the most gorgeous flower. So don't turn your back on it. Continue to pour sunlight into yourself, into your dreams, into your desires. Your energy will always, always precede the results. You are creating the blueprint of your 3D reality with the thoughts, energy, and intentions of your mind. I just want to tell you that I am so thankful that you listen to my podcast. If you feel like this is something worth sharing, please do. I am so thankful for every single one of you. And like Anne Frank said, if my words only affect one person, then my job is done. We are all here for one reason or another, and sometimes it might just be as simple as something you said to someone that changed the direction of their life, that gave them hope to keep going, to not give up, or it changed their perspective to be more compassionate toward a family member or a friend. And I have an ask for you this week. Can we spread some kindness? Give a stranger a compliment. Give your child a hug. Put your head on one of your parents' shoulders. I think sometimes we get so caught up in our own heads and our own lives that we tend to forget that love is the one thing that connects us all. And love can be expressed in so many different ways. Kindness, caring, compassion, even just looking at someone in the eyes and holding their gaze for a moment, letting them feel safe, letting them feel seen. I encourage you to follow through with this act. And lastly, my friends, if you haven't already, I'd love for you to rate this podcast and leave a review. It would mean so much to me, and I might even share your review on a future episode. Sending you so much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful day.